Hello, class. I hope all is going well with you as we hit fall break next week. We get a couple extra days of rest, maybe unless you're all online. I will just have one lecture split into two for you for next week, so you get a little bit of a relief. So I wanted to address just some confusion. I got 3 emails. So three is using my number in a class. If I get 3 questions about the same thing, then I usually pause the class and address that. So this is me pausing kind of the class and just addressing, making sure it's clear. I failed to kind of explain this maybe in the beginning of the term. So while there are due dates and you do want to discipline yourself as you go through the course, each unit has a component that's somewhat self-guided. So I'm going to show you an example of that. When you get onto Blackboard here, you'll notice that you come to announcements. Of course, that's where the latest thing that I've said or is at. But when you go to course content, in Unit 1, I'm just going to give you a for instance of something you've already experienced. So week 1, there was the introductions. In week 2, we got started, but essentially week 2 through week 4, so those 3 weeks you were self-guided, right? You could watch those videos on History of Ag anytime you'd like. Like I said, 1 2-hour session or 20 minutes split up over the 3 weeks, however you wanted to do it. And I put up PowerPoints at various times I thought appropriate, but nothing was ever due. So that's what a lot of this is like. I put up the things you need in what I feel is a good, timely fashion, and chunk it out, try to give you a hint of the order in which it is best presented. And then there are. So in the first unit, for instance, you had 2 Flipgrid videos, one on tobacco and one on worst mistake mankind, right? So you the first one was kind of easy because we'd only had 2 weeks of class. And so, but that video on Flipgrid was only for that first one. And then there was the potato, which nothing was due. You had the questions. So I do understand it seems maybe different from other classes that might be more every Sunday night, something is due, weekly quiz, so on and so forth. I'm a little more unstructured and flexible in that way. So it's mostly about information and your exams, okay? 15% of your grade is the packback. That's about the only weekly thing. So that's just once a week, 1 question, and it's not over any single particular PowerPoint. It's not on every lecture, but typically the week, you'll have covered some information. So you're free to ask any question that you were inspired to ask by the information or about the information in particular, any question related to material. As a matter of fact, you could even, if you were late on the ball game and you want to go back or, from 2 weeks ago, and you want to post a question this week about something we've already covered, or maybe you're seeing a big picture of something come together, at any point, you can ask any question. I think personally, it's always best if you're asking a question about that week's material, but you're not held to it. Okay, so just so long as you do your best to post 1 question a week and look at a few other people's questions, what's on their mind, and then post a response to that. Okay, so I think y'all got that because y'all been doing very well for the most part. It's only a handful that have kind of been slacking on packback. There's time to catch up. Yes, you may post more than once, but those grades I'm going to be taking are on a weekly basis. So each week you want some activity. So like I've mentioned though, all in all, I'm only taking 10 of those grades. So it gives you 6 weeks essentially of flexibility. If you're too busy, didn't get around to it, that's fine. I'm not going to micromanage each week to see, oh, you didn't post this week. That's fine. So my assumption is that there's 3 weeks in which you have a test. So you probably, but you can, but you probably won't test. I don't expect as much participation in those 3 weeks. The first week or two, as I said, I wasn't requiring. Some did. Those will count if you did. If you didn't do, Don't worry about those two. So that's about 5 weeks there, and any other week that you were just too busy. So you have about 6 weeks. If you miss posting, you're okay. I'm going to take the grade out of 10 weeks, 10 points per week on PackBack. You get 6 points for posting your question. You get 2 points for each response to somebody else's, for a total of 10 points in the week. So you may well have more than you need if you've been doing it every week, but hopefully you've been learning and having fun with it, right? That's kind of the deal, and engaging with the information and inspiring your classmates. That's the point. So that's the only thing that's on a weekly basis. That's your participation. It's 15% of your grade. Okay, and it's just one question on anything. Now, as far, and I already talked about the material as an example in Unit 1. Some of it's self-guided. I will release like the tobacco for that week, potato for the next week. So Unit 2 is very similar. I'm going to go to Unit 2 and show you this one. So you'll see mine, but for instance, Unit 2 exam is not there yet. So you had a few lectures, you had this video, and it's in response primarily to this video. This week, this is what you're doing. And this is an announcement, and I'll give you the list of things you're doing right now, 1 through 5, you'll see. So you've watched her video. You read the article on Vegetables Aren't the Answer, Challenges to Urban Food Deserts. And reading those, you're just kind of synthesizing a general feel. Does this all come together? Is there one single plan here? Or do we have various ideas about how to address different problems? And so in the quiz, you're going to tell me how these ideas relate. In addition, on the quiz, there's a couple questions regarding response to food insecurity. So you'll want to have watch the videos and the PowerPoints, and you have until this Sunday, October 4th, to click on the quiz, Thoughts on Feeding the World and Your Neighbors. Okay, and here's the question. So again, 1, just summarizes the video in short. 2, do the articles relate to her? And 3, now 3 you'll get from the lecture. It's in the PowerPoints, and there's short videos that'll give insight and answer to number 3. And number 4 is also in the slides near the end. Okay, so that's this week. So this week you're there. Over the next 2 weeks, likewise, well, Green Revolution came out yesterday. Over the next couple weeks, you're going to get this one, and then this one. This quiz will not be due until October 18. But it'll be released sooner than that, okay? It'll be released as soon as the other one. So you pace yourself, once again. This is a large PowerPoint right here. I'm gonna post a lecture for it. So week 8, conservation, week 9, biodiversity and sustainability, and I'll post this one. So this is all the information for those 2 weeks, lectures and PowerPoints. And over 2 weeks' time, you pace yourself. But ultimately, this Allen Savier response to climate change will be due. Don't worry about that right now. This is in the next 2 weeks. This week, focus on the quiz. I just want to give you a projection for the pacing of the class. Okay, so I will sometimes release in advance, as some have also requested. Anyway, and you can see there'll be other things coming up as well after this. So it's flexible scheduling is what I have here. I release it at the recommended times. There is an exam date. Everything does have a due date, but there is some self-guided, self-pacing here so that you can watch that information in an online class whenever you want through the week, okay? That's it. So you'll also see instructions here for what you should be doing with the service learning at this point. Okay. In that announcement I just sent, once you've set up all your, whether you got online and signed up or made a phone call and signed up, whenever you get signed up, come over here and click on this Google form. And all you're going to do is tell me your name, your email, and then if you have a contact name, put it in here, or at least the address. Anyway, and that's how you're going to tell me what you're doing. And then you have about a month and a half or something, 2 months to complete it. Okay. All right. Hope that helped. clarify and didn't mull it up anymore. What are we? Thursday? We're already at the end? Fall break?